What's going on, guys? My name is Rumble Skrash and welcome to my first ever tier list video of the best teams in Pirate Rumble PvP. Now, before I start, I wanna do a quick mention to some teams that didn't make the cut. I put only 5 teams, which I think are the most promising and most powerful teams. Although considering the 5 spot, there's some teams that you can do that would be at the same level. For example, this team is one team that I showcased in one of my videos that was beating, for example, the in team. So there's some teams that you have to keep an eye out, even though they are not going to be in this list, because sometimes it can be a little bit RNG, and I base the order of the teams a little bit in that sense. The same with the defense down team that I showcased in one other of my videos, but that didn't have the Roger yet because Roger wasn't still even announced. So without further ado though, let's start with a tier list video. So here we are. Now, before I start, I wanna do a quick disclaimer and say that in my opinion, there's no such thing as the best team. Like, there's a list of very powerful teams, and some of these teams work very well against some of the others, but they may struggle against a particular team. So that's a thing to keep an eye out for, because you can be expecting for a team to be beating every team and just be 100% safe against every team in particular. So every team has its problems and it has its counters. So if you go up against your particular counter, you may be losing, even though it's one of the strongest teams. So that's the thing to keep in mind. Like I said before, there's other teams that could have made a cut here. Just like I did a quick representation. And another thing to mention is that the order of these teams may not mean precisely that the top one is the best team. Like, in my opinion, these are like my favorite teams to use, and I think it's a little bit in order of their power, but I think they are pretty much all around the same level. Maybe not the lower tier ones, like the last 2 teams, maybe not, but I think that mostly the first 2 teams are at a very, very particular and very similar level. The third team maybe too. So that's the thing. Like, I will start commenting these teams from bottom to row. So from bottom to top, sorry, from the bottom row to the bottom to the top row. So let's start with the in team. Now, you will be saying that there's no Blackbeard here. I think the in team with Blackbeard as an attacking team has no potential here. Like all these teams, like all the other 4 teams in the 4 top rows, I have made videos about them destroying the in team with Blackbeard, which is the in team that most people are using. So as you can see, I don't think that team has any potential there, because Blackbeard is just giving more HP when they already have a lot of HP, so they don't need level 5 HP more. And he's giving multiplier damage, which it's okay, but against all these teams that have a lot of defense, he's normally doing nothing. He's only somewhat useful at the start of the match when the team doesn't yet still have a lot of defense. But I think there's other better options. Sorry, there's other better options instead of Blackbeard. So in this particular in team, I have put Fujitora instead of Blackbeard. The thing is, I'm aiming for, with this in team, to go for massive health cut and that fixed damage killing the enemy. So the 2 important units are the Katakuri and the Jozo. And the health cut is Fujitora. The only problem with that is that Fujitora has a much higher cooldown than the other 2, so he's gonna be activating after the Katakuri and Jozo activate their specials. So that might be a bit of a problem. The thing is that the in team, as it has a lot of HP and a lot of defense, normally it's living till the second round of activation of specials. And if you can live to the second round of activation of specials, you're probably gonna win, because Fujitoro will have done a massive health cut, and with the 2 activations of Katakuri and Jozo, you're gonna be probably winning. So that's the thing, but that's why it's at the bottom, because it's relying a lot on getting to the second level of activation of specials. Even though it has a lot of HP and defense, it can die before that, so that's why I put him here. So one thing to mention is that you can replace the Fujitoro with V2 Shanks. I think that's a good option too, because he has a lower cooldown, so he will be activating before Katakuri and Jozu, and he gives a 25% health cut, so that's not as substantial as it should. So you're not gonna be killing the enemy team with the first activation either, but at the second activation it's the same result as with Fujitoro, and plus he's giving some crit rate up and some attack up, so that could actually help your Dofi and NL specials to do a lot more damage. So that's a thing to keep in mind. And as you can see, there's Sanji on the bench. You can actually put any other unit. You can put Blackbeard even though his HP buff will not be effective at the bench. But I think Sanji is a very underrated unit, and it can actually help and save the day if he activates the special at the end of the match. So that's it for the in team though. Next up, we have this kind of rainbow team with Roger. As you can see, Roger is one of the best units in PvP. He's in almost every team. It can have replacements, but then you would have to go, for example, in this particular team, I'm aiming for a massive health cut and massive fixed damage. If you want to replace Roger, you will have to go with the team that I mentioned at the start of the video that didn't make the cut in here. So that's based on health cut and fixed damage, so that's a good team too. But with Roger, this is a very, very powerful team, because Shanks Crew and Rayleigh are 2 very tanky units, and Roger is actually helping and complementing them. In the only problem that they had, that it was that the first 30 seconds of the battle they were kind of squishy, but now Roger fixed that, so that trio is very, very powerful. So as you can see, this trio is in 3 of the best 4 teams, so I think that goes to show how powerful it is. Now the thing is, this team is planned for Whitebeard and Shanks Crew to activate first, do the health cut, then Roger and Carrot activate and do a lot of fixed damage. The team has a lot of speed with Roger and Carrot. Carrot is actually very replaceable. You can put any fixed damage dealer. For example, you can put Katakuri if you want to be very safe, because Whitebeard will be giving a health cut to all enemies guaranteed, and Roger and Katakuri will be giving fixed damage to all enemies guaranteed. So you can go for that, and that's a very, very safe team. It's not RNG in the way of targeting the enemies. It may be RNG in if you win or not, or if you die or not, but in the sense of targeting enemies, it's very safe. You will be doing a health cut to all the enemies, fixed damage to all enemies. So with Katakuri is powerful, plus Katakuri is debuffing some Sai enemies, so in the case you're going up against a Roger, you're debuffing him, so that's good too. And his special also debuffs Roger, so that's very good. The only thing is that Katakuri's passive is only giving speed to himself, so you might not have as high of speed as with Carrot, but you might not actually need it. So that's the thing to keep in mind. You can also put Kozuki Oden too, because he's giving fixed damage to all enemies guaranteed too, and he works very, very well with Roger. And you can even put any other fixed damage dealer like B1 Kuzan. I wouldn't recommend putting B1 Kuzan, because B1 Kuzan's passive is doing nothing for your team here, but it can actually work if you only want the fixed damage. So the bind could actually work really well, but if you're going up against a Roger or an Odin, they actually ignore these action binds, so you might not actually want that. So I think Carrot or Katakuri or Odin are very, very good options here. And as it is a 5 legend team, you can put any PvP limited rare recruit at the end of the team. You can put PvP, you cannot put PvP Whitebeard because you already have a Whitebeard in your crew, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but you can put Otama to heal your units. I think that's the best option. Or you can put even, for example, a Jozu to give more fixed damage. So you can do a lot of good things. So, but I think that's about it for this team. It may not be the fastest team in terms of activating specials and killing the enemy, but it's really consistent. So next up we have this team, which is one of my favorite teams. It's based in, as you can see, in a lot of defense zone with Whitebeard, Roger, and B26 plus Lucci. This team can, as I showcased in one of my videos, this team can actually beat the in team and a lot of very tanky teams, because it's giving, if you max the whole team, you're giving the enemy team, if your specials are at the same time, a total amount of defense on level 17, so that should be killing any team. And plus Roger's giving attack up level 5, so he's giving attack up to the Lucci and Whitebeard, which are the 2 damage dealers. And then if the enemy team hasn't died, the health cut of Shangshru and the fixed damage of Rayleigh should be killing the team, and also obviously the fixed damage of Roger. So I think that's a very promising team. And the good thing is that as you are using PvP Whitebeard, which is cost 20, you can put any legend on the bench. I normally like to use Carrot, because when one of my units dies, I want my other units to be attacking a lot and activating their specials, and that speed buff is really good. You could put definitely any other character. You can put Kozuki Oden even on the bench. Like, you can put any legend that you want. Just think that if your Rayleigh dies, you're gonna be in somewhat of a trouble, so maybe you want to put a Carrot so that you are doing consistent damage. And the thing is that when Rayleigh dies, for example in this team, if he dies, he's gonna die probably before activating his special. So if you put a Carrot, that's really good, because it means that Carrot's gonna come in with max special and do a lot of damage immediately when she comes in. So that's a thing to keep in mind. But that's about it for this team. I think it's a very powerful team, but I have put it at 3rd spot because the 2 teams at the top are just insane. I know, because this combination of Oden and Roger are very good, and I think you will be seeing a lot of these teams in the future, and I'm definitely going to be trying to find some counters to it, but it's going to be very difficult because it's difficult to counter Roger without the Roger, but I'm going to be thinking of some stuff. So let's go with the second team. So this is the new Slasher team that I showcased in my last video. This is an absolutely amazing team. It surprised me a lot. I didn't think that this Slasher team was able to beat the very tanky in team with like level 18 defense, and it actually can. So it's actually very surprising, because it only has a defense on level 5 from Roger, and you would think that the damage of Odin, Dofi, and Kizaru is not doing much, but actually is. So because they have a lot of attack up buff with Kizaru and Odin and Roger, so that's the thing. I think it's very powerful, and it's very fast. Your special are activating amazingly fast, because Odin and Kizaru are giving you a lot of special CT up, the same that Kizaru and Roger are giving a lot of speed up. You can definitely replace Kizaru for B3 Law. This combination with B3 Law is basically to go against an in team, and I did it in my previous video of this team, and it works incredibly well. You can beat a lot of in teams with B3 Law using, because when your specials are getting charged that fast with Kozuki Oden, you're delaying all the in team special and speed. And then that means that you're gonna be delaying the activation of the tanky units special, so they're not gonna be giving the defense up buffs that you would fear. So Odin is actually destroying them before they activate the defense up. So he's actually doing a lot of damage. So that's the thing. But this team with Kizaru, I think, against a general team, like not in the in team in particular, I think it's better to use Kizaru than B3 Low. But against the in team, it's better B3 Low. So at the bench, I put PvP Whitebeard because just an insane unit. But you can put an Otama to heal, or I don't know, like whatever unit that you want. You can put PvP. The thing is, as you're using 5 legend crew, you can only put a PvP limited rare recruit or something like that. So I think Otama is after PvP Whitebeard, it's the best option. But you can definitely put, for example, a Jozu, I don't know, to give speed to Dofi and maybe do something. Like, I think I would recommend putting PvP Whitebeard, but you can do whatever you want. And finally, let's go with the top team. Like, I'm really impressed with this team. Like, it's so strong. Like, it's amazing what this team can do. I will be uploading a video of this team actually destroying any team that comes in its way. Like, it doesn't even struggle against any in team. You can actually beat rainbow teams with PvP Whitebeard, Rayleigh, and Shanks crew. You and Otama even. You can beat a lot of teams, and I will be uploading a video in which I'm showing that you can beat pretty much any team that goes in your way. So I think that's why I'm saying it's one of the best teams, but I'm sure it has a lot of counters, and I'm gonna be trying to find them because obviously I have this team because I will be showing you guys. So a lot of times I want to be using this team, but I also want to find some counters to it because definitely, obviously, this team, if you have luck or if your units are more leveled up, you can beat the same team, but it's not as fun to go with one team against the exact same team. So I want to find a different counter to this team in particular, or to the slasher team that I showed, and I will be showing you guys. As I said, it's gonna be difficult if you don't have Roger. As I mentioned in one of my videos, Roger is gonna be meta changing. So that's what I was meaning. That's what I meant when I said that. As you can see, Roger is on the top 4 teams, in my opinion. There's other teams that could make the cut here. For example, there's a side team that could work really well, maybe not against an in team, because all the side units are getting defense down level 4 because of Katakuri. So you might not want that, but I think that side team is actually very good. It's using like the intuitive units, actually, like Kizaru, Roger, B3 and then B2 Kuzan is actually a very underrated unit. And then it's using Boa. I think Boa is really good, but when Germa 66 comes out, he's gonna be a much better option. So yeah, that's it. Like I'm really looking forward in the future to trying maybe this side team, and I'm definitely sure that it will make the cut here. But the thing is, I don't have B3 Boa, and German 66 hasn't come out yet, so right now I haven't been able to test the side team, but I think it's gonna be very powerful and probably will make top 3 or top 4. And one other thing I wanted to mention, in the future, so in a month or two, Halloween Mihawk is gonna be coming out, and it's gonna be changing a little bit the meta too, even though I still think that this Roger is absolutely insane, and I think that the top 2 teams here in this list are still gonna be able to beat that in team with Halloween Mihawk. But we're gonna be seeing, like, Halloween Mihawk is a very dirty unit, and it does a lot of damage in combination with B2 Shanks and the PP limited rare recruit ores. So you be aware if you see in the future Halloween Mihawk in the enemy team. So one last thing I wanted to mention is that as I mentioned, that this in-team meta that we have seen in the last months, I think it's starting to die. Like I think the meta now, it's gonna be Roger actually, but the meta is going towards a team in which activates really fast, like the slasher team, and activates the special really fast, and it's debuffing the unit with some defense down and a lot of damage. I think that's where I don't like using the word meta, but I think that's where the meta is going. So keep an eye out for that, and I will be finding some counters to these top teams so that you guys can guarantee always the win, changing your attacking teams depending on what defense team appear in your screen. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really looking forward to some of your comments and saying what teams do you think are the best teams. But without further ado, let's end this video. So like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.